Money can build empires, buy islands, and silence the world. But it cannot prepare a son for the moment he sees his mother begging for mercy from the woman he married. The night was unusually quiet in Cairo Beale's mansion. Outside, Johannesburg's lights glowed like scattered stars, but inside the house, something darker was growing. Cairo had returned from work early. He liked to surprise his mother, hear her humming old church hymns or find her praying softly in the corner. But tonight the house felt wrong, empty, cold, almost holding its breath. As he stepped inside, he heard faint whispers from the kitchen. He stopped. The voices were sharp, trembling, dangerous. "You think you can turn my husband against me?" Aisha's voice sliced through the silence. My daughter, please put the pot down," Mama Salome whispered. Her voice shook like dry leaves in the wind. Cairo's heart tightened. "Pot. Oh, pot." He moved closer. Steam drifted from the kitchen doorway. The air smelled like boiling metal. Inside, Aisha stood gripping a pot filled with bubbling water, her chest rising and falling with rage. Mama was backed into a corner, hands trembling. "You should have left this house long ago," Aisha hissed. "I am tired of pretending." Mama cried softly. "Aisha, don't do this, please." Aisha raised the pot higher, and the world slowed. Cairo's breath froze in his lungs. The boiling water tipped forward. Mama screamed, a scream so raw it tore through the walls. And Cairo burst in. "Aisha!" Everything stopped. Water dripped off Mama's burned arm. Steam filled the room. The smell of burned flesh spread like poison. Aisha stared at Cairo, eyes wide, panic rising. Cairo, she came toward me. "It was an accident, I swear." Cairo didn't shout, didn't move. His voice came out like a quiet storm. "What have you done?" Mama collapsed into his arms, crying in pain. "My son, she tried to." "It's okay, Mama. I'm here." He lifted her gently and carried her out. Aisha followed behind, shaking, begging, trying to explain. "Cairo, please listen to me." "Not now," he said sharply. "Not a word. Get in the car." The drive to the hospital was silent. Aisha sobbed behind him. Mama moaned in pain beside him. Cairo's jaw remained locked, eyes forward, mind burning. At the hospital, Mama was rushed into emergency care. When Aisha tried to follow, Cairo stopped her with a hand gesture so cold it froze her where she stood. "Go home. Cairo, please. Go home." She left crying. Hours passed. Doctors treated Mama's burns. They told him she'd recover physically, but emotionally, she needed peace. 50. He returned home in the morning. Aisha waited at the bottom of the staircase, looking broken. "Cairo," she whispered, reaching for him. He walked past her. "Cairo, please, I'm begging you, talk to me." He finally turned. "There is nothing to talk about. I saw what you did." "No." I snapped. "She keeps disrespecting me. You don't understand, your mother, she makes me feel so small." "So your answer was boiling water." Aisha dropped to her knees, crying. "I'm sorry. Please." "I lost control." Cairo's face didn't soften. "You didn't lose control. You lost humanity." "Don't say that," she cried. "You will leave this house today." Aisha froze. "You're kicking me out. I'm your wife. And that was my mother." Aisha's voice cracked. "You're choosing her over me." "Yes." Her shock turned into desperation. "You think I'm just going to walk away quietly? I know things about your company. Emails, documents. If I speak, your entire empire." Cairo didn't let her finish. He opened the security monitor. Footage played. Aisha lifting the pot. Mama backing away. The water spilling. A scream. She covered her mouth. You recorded me. My house has cameras everywhere. You knew that." She collapsed. "Cairo. I'm sorry, please." "It's too late." By noon, lawyers arrived. Aisha packed her belongings, crying and screaming. By 2 p.m., Security escorted her out as neighbors watched. Cairo stayed upstairs. Only when the gates closed did he finally breathe. Aisha ran to social media, posting videos crying, claiming Mama provoked her. But within hours, a blurred clip leaked online. People saw the truth. They dragged Aisha across every platform. #Justice for Mama trended. Celebrities condemned Aisha. She disappeared from public view. A week later, Mama returned home, slower, more fragile. "Your house is quiet," she whispered. "Peaceful," Cairo said. "I know you sent her away," Mama murmured. "I did." Mama sighed sadly. "You did what you had to do. But don't let bitterness live in your heart." Cairo nodded, but inside he knew forgiveness would take time. Aisha tried everything. Long voice notes, apologies, threats, lawyers. But Cairo's answer never changed.
Well,
The world waited for his next move. One morning he announced a press conference. Journalists filled the hall. Flashes lit the room. Cairo walked in with Mama at his side, arm bandaged. He looked out at the world and spoke calmly. "I am filing for divorce." Gasps spread through the hall. "But this is not just about my personal life. This is about a deeper issue in our society." The room fell silent. "I am launching the Salome Foundation, named after my mother. A foundation for elderly women suffering abuse, neglect, and mistreatment inside their own homes. No elder should fear the people they raise." Mama's eyes filled with tears. Cairo continued. "Power means nothing if you cannot protect the ones who gave you life." The room erupted in applause. The internet exploded with support. And Aisha's world ended that day. Cairo stood tall, not just as a billionaire, but as a son who chose love, justice, and truth over reputation. And across Africa, one lesson echoed. A man who protects his mother protects his destiny. A woman who harms a mother destroys her own future. And a home built on lies can never stand. The world thought the story had ended the day Cairo announced his divorce. They believed Aisha would disappear quietly, ashamed, defeated, erased from the map like smoke in the wind. But people forget one thing. A wounded woman with pride and ego as sharp as knives never goes down silently. For the first few weeks, Aisha hid indoors, avoiding cameras, reporters, and angry strangers who recognized her on the street. Her reputation had turned to dust. Brands canceled her contracts. Influencers unfollowed her. The society that once worshipped her heels now spit on her name. But humiliation breeds a dangerous kind of fire. And one night, staring at her reflection in a cracked mirror, mascara running down her cheeks, she whispered to herself, "If Cairo wants war, I'll show him war." The next morning, she walked into the office of a man she once promised never to meet again. Her ex-lover, a corrupt businessman named Darius Koza. A man who hated Cairo more than she did. A man who lived for chaos. When he saw her, he smirked like he had expected her arrival. "So, the queen has fallen," Darius whispered. "How can I help you destroy your king?" Aisha clenched her jaw. "I want everything. His peace. His reputation. His empire." Darius leaned back, smiling dangerously. "Good. I still have files. Deals he trusted me with. Land transactions. We can twist them. Pin them. Turn him into the villain." Aisha knew these files weren't illegal, but twisted the wrong way, they could create a scandal fierce enough to shake the stock market. And so the revenge began. Rumors spread online that Cairo was laundering money, that he bribed officials, that the foundation he created was a PR stunt. The media smelled blood and ran with it. Fake evidence circulated. Anonymous accounts accused him of corruption. His company stocks dipped. Investors panicked. Cairo recognized the pattern. He knew exactly whose hand was behind the smoke. Late one evening, Cabello entered his study. "Sir, the attacks are coordinated. Someone is paying journalists to push the narrative." "Let me guess," Cairo said quietly. "Aisha." Cabello nodded. Cairo sighed deeply. He wasn't angry, not yet. He was disappointed, exhausted, and strangely calm. She wants me to respond, to react emotionally. I won't. Not yet. But Mama was not so calm. When she read the fake headlines, her heart ached, and she sat beside her son with tears in her eyes. Cairo, she murmured. A woman who burns your house once will try to burn the ashes too. You must be careful. He held her hand. I am, Mama. Meanwhile, Aisha was getting bolder. She appeared on a streaming show, sitting dramatically with a tissue in her hand. She spoke with forced trembles in her voice. Cairo and his mother emotionally abused me, she said through fake tears. I loved them. I did everything for them. And how did they repay me? They threw me out like trash. The interviewer leaned forward. What about the boiling water incident? Aisha sniffed hard. That video is edited. I was protecting myself. His mother attacked me first. The internet split. Some people believed her lies. Many didn't. But the noise was enough to cause damage. Cairo watched the interview in silence. Cabello waited for him to explode. But he didn't. Instead, Cairo stood up calmly. If she wants to play with lies, I will answer with truth. He began gathering documents, timestamps, camera footage, medical reports, witness statements from servants who saw everything. He didn't post them online. He didn't rush. He chose precision over anger. But Aisha wasn't done. One night, she broke into his gated community with the help of Darius's men. They hacked the security cameras, entered through the rear garden, and Aisha walked toward the mansion clutching a small bottle of gasoline. Her eyes were wild. Her breath shook. Her voice cracked. If I can't live in this house, no one will. But when she reached the back door, she froze. Inside the living room, she saw something she hadn't expected. Cairo sitting on the couch with Mama, helping her fold laundry. They were laughing softly. A simple, peaceful moment. A moment she never understood. A moment she never appreciated. Something twisted inside her chest. Jealousy, regret, love, rage, all swirling into madness. She raised the gasoline to throw. But suddenly, bright lights exploded behind her. Kneel down. Kneel down now. Security tackled her to the floor. The bottle fell from her hand. Cabello rushed out with 2 more guards. What are you doing here? He shouted. Aisha screamed wildly. He stole my life. I want it back. Cairo stepped into the doorway, staring at her with heartbreak more than anger. Aisha, what happened to you? He whispered. She looked up at him with eyes full of fire and broken glass. You happened to me. Mama covered her mouth in shock. God help this child. Aisha lunged toward Cairo, but guards held her down. Let me go, she screamed. I'll finish what I started. Those words, those exact words, made Cairo's blood run cold. He nodded slowly to the guards. Call the police. Aisha froze. Her rage melted into fear. Cairo, no, you wouldn't. But he stepped back, expression hardening. I gave you every chance to walk away with dignity. You chose war. Police arrived. They handcuffed her. Aisha's screams echoed through the quiet night. Cairo, I loved you. I still love you. You can't do this. But he turned away. For the first time he felt nothing. Days later, Aisha was charged with attempted arson, attempted harm and trespassing. Darius Koza fled the country, afraid of what would come next. The media eventually found the real truth. Aisha had orchestrated everything. Public opinion swung again, this time crushing her without mercy. Cairo remained calm through it all. He attended board meetings, expanded the foundation, spent evenings with Mama, rebuilt his peace piece by piece. 1 month after Aisha's arrest, Mama hugged her son and whispered, Your life was a house built on sand. God broke it so you could rebuild on stone. Cairo closed his eyes. He finally understood. And as he looked out at the peaceful sunset over his restored mansion, one thing became clear. This was not the end of his story. It was the beginning of a new one. Months passed, and life slowly began stitching itself back together for Chiron Beale. The mansion that once echoed with tension now breathed peace. Mama Salome healed fully, her burns fading into marks that told a story of survival and a mother's unshakable strength. The foundation named after her began helping hundreds of elderly women. The world admired Cairo. Yet inside him, something still felt unfinished, like a door left half open. Aisha remained in custody as her trial approached. Each day she sent letters begging for forgiveness, confessing love, blaming madness, blaming loneliness. But none of them moved Cairo. He had offered her heart once, trust, a home, a future. She had burned all of it with her own hands. But destiny wasn't finished with them yet. One evening, as the sun dipped behind Johannesburg's skyline and painted the sky with burnt orange, Cairo received a call from his lawyer. "Sir," the lawyer said, "Aisha wants a final meeting with you. Before sentencing." Cairo didn't respond at first. Mama looked up from her knitting. "My son," she said softly, "go. Not for her, but for your own heart." And so he went. The prison meeting room was cold. Gray walls, fluorescent lights. A table dividing two people who once slept under the same blanket. Aisha walked in slowly, wearing the standard uniform, her hair tied back, her face bare. She looked smaller, broken. Nothing like the fierce, proud woman who once ruled his mansion like a queen. She sat across from him, eyes trembling. "Cairo," she whispered. He didn't answer. She swallowed hard. "I wanted you to hear me one last time. Not to change anything. Not to beg for freedom. Just to speak." He nodded once, allowing her. Aisha's voice cracked. "I didn't come into your life wanting to hurt you. I loved you, truly. But your mother. She reminded me of everything I was not. Everything I could never be. I was jealous of how you loved her. Felt small. Insecure. Invisible." She wiped her tears. "And I let that darkness grow until it swallowed me." Cairo's expression softened slightly. Not with love, but with understanding. "Pain changes people, even villains." She continued, trembling. "I know I don't deserve forgiveness. I know I ruined everything. But I want you to know that I'm sorry. Truly sorry. If I could rewind that night, I'd rather burn myself than harm her." The room fell silent. After a long moment, Cairo finally spoke. His voice calm, heavy, honest. "Aisha, I loved you. I wanted to build a life with you. But you attacked the one person who gave me life. There are mistakes we can fix. And there are mistakes that break something forever." Tears rolled down her cheeks. He continued softly. "I forgive you, but forgiveness does not mean we return to what we were. Our paths end here." Aisha broke completely, her sobs shaking her entire body. Cairo stood, nodded respectfully to the guard, and walked away without looking back. As he stepped outside, the evening breeze brushed against his face. For the first time in months he felt light. Like a burden had been lifted. When he returned home, Mama was waiting on the porch. "How was it?" she asked gently. "It's over," he said. "Truly over." Mama smiled knowingly. "Then your heart is free to start again." And life did start again. Weeks turned into months. The foundation grew. Cairo traveled across provinces, building homes for vulnerable elders, funding clinics, repairing communities. He visited villages where children ran barefoot and women cooked on open fires. The simplicity grounded him. It reminded him who he was before the skyscrapers and billions. During one of these visits, in a quiet Limpopo village, he met her, Naledi. She wasn't glamorous, nor was she wealthy. She worked as a schoolteacher, gentle and warm, with laughter that felt like sunrise after a long night. She recognized him instantly but treated him like an ordinary man, not a billionaire. She didn't want his money, his status, or his fame. She valued his humanity. They talked for hours under mariela trees. She listened without judgment. She smiled without pretending. And slowly, Cairo felt something he thought he had lost forever: the ability to hope again. Mama noticed immediately. "My son," she said one night, smiling with that knowing African mother wisdom, "your eyes look alive again." Cairo chuckled shyly. "Mama, it's too soon." Mama touched his cheek gently. "Healing has no schedule. When the heart is ready, it knows." And his heart did know. Naledi wasn't a replacement for the past. She was a reminder that love could exist without pain, without fear, without burning secrets. Back in Johannesburg, Aisha faced court. She was sentenced, not harshly but fairly. She watched the world move on without her. She watched Cairo rise higher than before. And in her cell one night, she whispered to herself, "This is the price of my choices." Life had taught her the most brutal lesson. As for Cairo, he continued rising, not with noise, not with pride, but with peace. Standing beside Mama, helping strangers, building something greater than wealth. One afternoon, as he walked through a newly opened senior home funded by the foundation, Mama looked at him proudly. "My son," she said, "you have turned your pain into purpose. That is what makes a man great." Cairo smiled, taking her hand gently. "Everything I am, Mama, I owe to you." The story didn't end with revenge or bitterness. It ended with healing, growth, freedom, and the quiet truth that mothers are the heart of every man's journey, and that protecting them brings blessings no amount of money can buy. And so, Cairo Mbille, once broken, once betrayed, rose again. Not as the billionaire the world admired, but as the man his mother raised.